Hey. Good. So what I want to do today is, one of the things that's so incredibly interesting to me is the ways that we develop power in karate. And what I want to do is when you start out with your normal sort of training, you start out with the hand katas. Hand shodan teaches you this idea of throwing your weight forward. Hand nidan talks about controlling your weight using back stance. Hand sandan teaches you to stop your weight, right? Hand yandan really teaches you this idea of center and coordination. And hand godan starts to teach you this elevation and dropping sort of idea, right? So by the end of it, you have this really good understanding of how to move your hips and how to move your limbs with your hips. And then comes this beast called Tiki Shodan. And so what I want to do is Tiki Shodan is really about the development of power with incredibly limited movement. One of the things that Jeremiah pointed out is that Tiki Shodan, of course, is done in Kibaduchi, which severely limits your ability to move your hips. But how do you create power out of that? And what I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to be doing a series of drills and taking almost a Sanshin kind of approach to looking at different stages and different ways to really build up the kata Tiki Shodan to really get at what's its heart. Okay? So enjoy the ride. I hope you have fun and let's get rocking. So from here, let's go through the kata. Let's make sure we all know it. So from here, just make your. Okay. From here, just by the count, nice and relaxed. No power, no speed. Ich, ni, sam, shi, go, rok, shi, hach, kyu, ju, ich, ni, sam, shi, go, ro, shich, hach, kyu, ju, ich, ni, sam, shi, go, rok, shich, hach, kyu. Good. Hey, yummy. Good. So everyone's good. Everyone remembers it? Yes, that's good. Okay, so what I want you to think about, the first stage is really thinking about the placement of your limbs and the correct sort of putting of where everything needs to be. One of the things I'm going to joke, it's okay for me to joke it because I'm past that age, is 45-year-old man syndrome. So you'll see people often do the kata, like so. Right? And it just doesn't quite operate. What I want us to think about is no power, no speed, but where your arms and elbows should be correctly placed. Okay? So just that piece, that's all I want you to think about. Let's go through. So from here, yoi. Hey, stepping across each. Knee. Good. So make sure the shoulders relax, body's down. Knee, push in. So how do you get your body round? You push through the hip, take up the rest in the spine, allow the shoulders to relax and push forward. Don't be up here. Sun, up and down, cup and saucer, right? Push your kamae. Sheep, straight gerambarai position. If I'm here and I think about the stance, if I'm here in this position, is my block all the way back here? No, it sits. If I transform my stance, right where gerambarai would normally sit. Okay, why is that important? We'll get to that. Sheep, roll around to Kagezuki. So Kage, quite often you're told, hold it right here, right on this side of the body. How does that happen? Notice there's a slight downward angle to my arm. If I hold my elbow here and just simply straighten my arm, it's a straight chudan punch to the target where I want it to be, my solar plexus. Right? So double check that. That tells you where the placement of the arm should sit. From here, step across, lift, uchuke. So again, check where that uchuke sits. We'll talk about that a little bit more, but really for that elbow, make sure one fist width off your body, right angles in the arm. There's a couple little angle pieces. We'll get to those, don't worry. From here, 1, 2, 3, pushing it through. This final position, check. Make sure it's sitting on top of the hand. How you want to check it is check this arm, make sure it's not close to the body, make sure it's out. Again, if I hold and straighten, it sits straight to chudan as normal. The opposite hand, right angle, sitting on top, about one fist within, it all fits together. It's amazing how symmetrical we are as humans. From here, of course, as you lift your legs, Make sure, sit here, try and hold your body straight. Don't let your arms wobble, simply lift, push. Check where that position is. Again, one fist width off your body, right angles, again sitting here. Keep this position, this connection between your hand and the elbow. Look, same the other side. Try and maintain your hand position. Let the feet come up. 1, 2, pushing across. Again, notice, one fist width off my body. My elbow sits there. Hand sits just underneath. Then sheep. Then gore. Pushing out. Again, check this hand. Elbow, sits straight out. Other hand straight down in a two-arm position. One of my old instructors used to tell me, pretend that you have two laser beams shooting out of your hands and those laser beams meet just like the Death Star in space somewhere out there. Now we get a whole nother side to practice. So one, feet it under, feet it out. Check, make sure, shoulders down. Knee, push, shoulders down, check that position, make that rotation. Don't let the knees buckle. Keep them in. Shi, koshi kamae, up, down. Go, gerambarai, check where that position is. You can check it by just transforming your stance to zenklets. Shi, checking the kagazuki, make sure, elbow, push, straight arm, straight, normal, chokazuki. Step across, lift, drop, make that uchuke, make sure it's not sticking out there, right? One fist width off the body, right angles. From here, 1, 2, 3, pushing in. Again, check this bottom arm here. Make sure, right angles, push off the body, should be chokazuki. Opposite hand sits right on top. Again, one fist width off. From here, look, keep your body where it is, keep your hand where it is, lift, push, turn, same, lift, push, koshi kamae, then throw. So it's a very, very simple kata, right? And it's really important that you get the correct placement of your arms and hands in the final positions. Okay, so the way that karate generally works for us as we grow and develop is we think about the final position of the technique. I think of folks usually from white belt to sort of just before brown belt, really thinking about that final position, that piece. Brown belt starts to go from there into the how do you get there. You're tested at shodan for your final position. Beyond that, it's all about the way that you get there. If you don't have the destination right, how can you ever have the pathway right? Does that make sense? So really think about that destination. We're going to go through the kata one more time. I want you to think through just moving through piece to piece to piece, just being nice and relaxed. Again, position each piece of your body correctly, right? Really think about, in particular, those elbow positions, that right angle, one fist width off, or if you're in a punching position, check to make sure it's here. So it's not too far over, not too far back, all of those kinds of things. I'm just going to count through it. We're going to do it together, but I'm going to give you time in between to correct yourself. Take that time to correct yourself. Here we go. Ready? Ich, ni, san, check, shi, go, rok, shi, hach, Q, 1, 2, 3, go, rok, shi, hach, Q, Ju, check your position. Right angle, this is right, good. Now reset. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Check. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Check where the position is. Make sure it's not too far out. Make sure it's not collapsed in. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Hey, everyone good? If we don't have that starting place, we can't go on to what I want to go on to for the rest of the day, right? So the next thing that happens is what we've talked about in terms of placement, is we've talked about placement really in terms of sort of here and here, and a little bit about here to here. But there's also some techniques, and I sort of alluded to it when I talked about Gerambarai and making that position into the Zenkutsudachi, ensuring that this is correct. So when you're thinking about movements that are those 30-degree angle ones, if you stand and you do not have your hips rotating or engaged, you end up making a position like this. This is the same as me making Gerambarai and being all the way out here. You've got to remember that you want to find this balance where you're able to engage muscles correctly. And in particular, when you're in these sort of tummy-facing positions, this has the beautiful position of being able to allow you to flex and connect your grills and your lats, as well as your shoulder either side. Right? If you go too far out, I'm losing engagement of my pec. If I go too far in, I'm losing the engagement of my lats. Right? I want to figure out in those final positions where I can make maximal engagement of the muscles in the final position. Because for that 1/100th of a second that I need my little bit, don't hit me, Judy, this really sucks. So if I make that one position here, if I hit it and I'm off, no, yes, right? It's about being able to take in that impact phase, something that Sensei Ubel often talks about, acceleration and impact, really taking that impact phase and ensuring that you're able to connect the maximal muscles to anchor the position of the body or the position of that limb for that one split second that you need it. Does that make sense? And being able to feel and understand where that is. So what we're going to do to help you think about it, I've helped you think about it this way. Right now, what I want to do is we're going to think about it in a way that you'll be able to understand. As you know, the hips in Kibadachi are there's very little movement. I get movement. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's this little piece here, right? There's some, right, that I can do without breaking my stance. But let's remove that as a factor of our kata. Let's remove that as a factor of our tiki shodan. So what we're going to do is we're going to do tiki shodan, but we're going to do it in Zenkutsudachi. And what we're going to do is we're going to have 4 separate hip positions. We're going to have shomen, hami, and shomen. Does that make sense? So Zenkutsudachi shomen, Zenkutsudachi hami, Zenkutsudachi hami, Zenkutsudachi shomen. Okay? And we're just going to go through it that way. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do it facing you. I'm just going to mirror you so you can follow me directly on the camera. That makes sense. So I'm just going to do the kata the opposite way around. So just in case you get stuck. And for a count, what I'm going to do is rather than 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm going to call it out as hami or shomen for where I want your hips. Everyone cool? Flash. Okay. So from here, I've got to reset my brain because I have a very small brain and this gets tough. Right, you ready? So from here, hey, each cross, knee, hami, shomen, hami, shomen, hami, shomen. Now from here, step across. You're just going to make a maigiri. It's just kind of cool and fun. And then you're going to rotate. Just watch the movement. It's going to be kick, rotate into hami. Right? So it's going to be here, I cross, maigiri, rotate, hami. Good. Now from here, shomen, hami, shomen. Everyone cool? From here now, keep your hips where they are. You're going to lift, shomen. From here, lift, shomen. Hami. Now for the last one, hami or shomen, I don't care. You're just going to shift your weight. Shi, push, boom. I don't care whether it's hami or shomen, your choice. Now from here, reset. Hami.
Yeah. You're getting Mario something.
Shomen.
It's very weird, but
Good. If anyone's not on mute other than me, yeah, thank you. Hami. Hami. Shomen. Step across. Maigiri, hami. Good. Now from here, shomen, hami, shomen. Good. Back leg. Shoman. Back leg. Shoman. Hami. Shoman or Hami, your choice. Chi. Good. And up. Everyone okay? No one traumatized? Okay, so what I want you to think about here, and we're going to come back to this drill a couple of times through this class, but what I want you to think about is notice how you're in Hami or Shoman. Notice where your arms are relative to your body in terms of this way. Does that make sense? So as I step, I'm thinking across, lift, Hami. Notice where my hand is. It's not all the way out here. It's here, right where I would make Gerambalai, right? Because it makes no sense. If you do this in Zenkuts, it's just stupid, right? So I want you to think about where your arms and legs are connected as you've always been taught, because Tiki is no different. Okay? So we're going to go through that same exercise again. But what I want you to think about is here, when I'm in this position. Oh, look at that. I'm in Shoman. Now when I make the cross, hook the cross step. 1, 2. Notice it's right here. It's in this position. It's not way back here, right? It's not here. It's here, right? And what I want you to do is I want you to feel where those muscles engage correctly. Does that make sense? On that lateral left to right. Use this as a tool to do that. Okay? So we're just putting it into a stance that you know, and it becomes a little less alien. Okay, let's try again. I'm going to go again. I'm going to mirror so that you can follow. Hey, Yui. And again, I'm going to call out Hami and Shoman respectively. Hey, each. Ni Hami. Shoman. Hami. Hami. Shoman. Good. Now step across. Make Maigani turn into Hami. Right? Be very, very strict. Again, don't let the elbows disappear to wherever you want them to be. Keep them right where they were. Use that first part of the class, right? Double check those pieces. Now from here, Shoman, Hami, Shoman. Good. Back leg comes in, Shoman. Back leg comes in, Shoman. Hami. Whoops, sorry, just Hami. Now from here, push. Hami, Shoman, don't care. Push. Now reset, Hami. Shoman, Hami, Hami, there, Shoman, there. Good. Step across, lift, Hami, Shoman, Hami, Shoman. Good. Back leg comes up, Shoman. Back leg comes up, Shoman. Hami, Shoman or Hami, don't care. Push. Good, and up. Is this helpful? Right, so what you want to think about is you want to think about now how your upper body is positioning itself relative to your hips. Right, one of the most important things in karate, I think, is your elbow-hip connection. How you connect your elbow to your hip in the right place relative to whatever technique you're using. Right, and there's a reach component to that. And there's a lateral component to that you really want to pay attention to, right? So if I'm here and I go too high, I lose that connection. I can't use those muscles. I'm relying on my frontal delt, my shoulders. Hold this. If I connect, I can feel my back engage. I can feel my pec engage. If I'm too far back, I can feel my back, but not my pec. If I go too far forward, I can't engage my back, but I'm engaging my pec, right? You want to use the right muscle at the right time in the right order. And you've got to make sure that your body is positioned in a way to maximally use that muscle at that time. And that's what you want to work on. So this kind of shape training and slow training is absolutely critical to allow you to do that. Make sense? Okay, let's do this one more time and then we'll move on. We'll move on to the next step. So what I want from you, what I expect from all of you is every single one of you will have the right shape, the right hip to elbow placement. You will have the right length of your techniques, because if we can do that, we can go work on the next parts of the kata, the next pieces that are important. Does that make sense? Okay, let's go. A yoi. A across, lift, hami. Shoman. Hum. Hum. Shoman. Step across. Kick. Hum. Shoman, hummy, shoman. Good. Check the position. Now from here, step across. Wait a minute, sorry. From here, lift, shoman. Lift, shoman. Hummy, hummy or shoman, push. Reset, hummy. Shoman, hummy, hummy, shoman. Step across, maigiri, hummy. Shoman, hummy, shoman. Back leg comes back, shoman. Back leg comes back, shoman. Hummy, shoman or hummy, don't care. Push. Good, and up. Okay, so one thing that's important, one piece I can see some of you are sort of having a little bit of issue with. You're very used to the classical sort of shotokan kind of feeling of just this, for this piece. One of the things you want to use is what I'm doing here to break it down and allow your hip to better synchronize with the movement is I've simply broken it down to 3 movements. Jeremiah a couple of days ago illuminated or sort of started to move in this direction. So when you break down this movement, if you look at it naturally, what you've always done is this sort of curve, up, connect, stop, and go, right? We're not changing any of that. All I'm doing is linearizing it. 1, 2, 3. Does that make sense? So it's no different. What you find is that if you combine it too quickly into this, right, which we can all do, what you find is that folks will often lose where their hips go. So they end up doing something like this because they know they have to move their hips, but they don't know where or how. When you think about this actual movement, this piece, you can think about this as slapping, this is hitting. You want to pull with this hand, so you want this hand to come backwards. You want this hand to go forward into the drive. Then as you make the next technique, you want to retract and use your hip to retract while the other hip shoots forward to make the punch. Then you want to slam the door shut into this. Does that make sense? And that's where this shoman, hami, shoman, it allows me to maximally use my hips within the action. Does that make sense? It's teaching me this natural. So even now, when I switch to the more smoother, the one you're more used to, watch my hips. Boom, boom, boom. It's following the same action. It's just at the moment, because I'm linearizing it out and making the movements big, that it's 1, 2, 3. Right? And again, as you all know, very, very small movement can relate to a lot of hip. Right? I don't need much hip movement to create a lot of power. Okay? Don't make fun about my weight, JD. Sorry, anyway, you get the idea, right? So, is everyone good with that so far? So we've got body position, we've got our upper body coordinated with our lower hip position, right? So coordination is always the first part about learning a kata. Have I said move with power and speed once yet? No. Let's now start developing the power and the speed. And where does most of our power come from? It comes from the floor. So what I want you to do is from here, make your from here, just straight chokazuki. Ich, ni, sam, shi, go, up, shich, hutch, two, two. Good. So everybody kind of, as you're moving, you're not just standing there stiff, right? You're not just sort of, I'm doing karate, right? You're allowing your hip to drive just slightly, right? Just a small amount. And again, you don't need a lot. With that hip drive, with that hip movement, are you sitting there going, man, you all needed to see that again. Here we go. Are you all doing this? Or are you making that drive off the floor? That hip movement should not be just this sort of, I'm moving my hip, but rather it should start from the bottom of the floor and drive and push into the target, right? From the feet into the target, no problem. Does that make sense? So let's just emphasize that a little bit more. So what I want you to do is make kamae. I want you to simply bend your right leg. So from here, just let it bend down. Now what's going to happen naturally is I'm just going to, it'll cause a slight lean as this leg bends. Notice I'm just dropping and sinking. My center is moving over. That's a natural byproduct of me just relaxing my leg. Right? If I'm here picking my nose, boom, it just drops. So what I want you to do is just here, each. Now from here, you've got bend and you've got drive in this leg. So from here, push off that leg to punch. Now let it go again, 2. Notice as I drop, my hip slightly rotates back. I've got all this weight. I've really weighted and primed my left leg. 2, push. Good. Now back. Prime the leg. 3. Let it go. Prime the back leg. 4. Good. Let it go. Prime the back leg. Shich. Let it go. Prime the left leg. So it's the one on the hip. Push off the left leg. Right. Let it go. Prime the right leg. Feel the weight in it. Push like you're going to do a jump. So the feeling is almost like you're here and you're almost, you're here, that feeling. Really make that emphasis, right? That feeling of hopping and pushing. So you ready? Start again. Let it go. 1, relax. 2, relax. 3, relax. 4, relax. 5, relax. 6, relax. 7, relax. 8, relax. 9, relax. 10, relax. Right? So it's important to create this full kinetic chain. This idea of this push here, the drive here, the acceleration of the hand, and then couple that with the connection or the intra-abdominal pressure, that squeeze, right? The kime that we sort of talk about at the end. So really, as Sensei Upal sometimes says, this idea of this acceleration, don't just use this. Use all of this timed, and then as you make the impact phase, let it connect for that very split second that it needs to. Does that make sense? So allow that to happen, allow that to connect. What you want to imagine is that none of this power is coming from your upper body. You are flying spaghetti man, right? You know the dudes, we have them over here in the States. Hello, I'm flying spaghetti man. You know, that's sitting there and it's got the wind blowing up and it's sort of flopping in the wind. You want to be that. Its base is really strong, but its arms are sort of flat. And every once in a while, you get this sort of pap, that feeling. That's how you want your karate to be in a way, right? Is here, this feeling of the strong base, this drive here, and then in, this relax, this drive here, in, that feeling. And my arms just simply go along for the right, that feeling. Okay? Let's try again. Ready? 10, just fairly quick. Relax down. 1, relax. 2, relax. 3, relax. 4, relax. 5, relax. 6, relax. 7, relax. 8, relax. 9, relax. 10, relax. Very good. So when you come up to chokazuki, when you come up to just straight standing hakodachi, making the stance, you want that same feeling, that relaxation. You want to know which foot you're going to be pushing off, whether it's your right or your left. And the way we're doing it with a very sort of gyakuzuki approach, right? So from here, just feel that leg pushing, 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 that same feeling, that same act of not just here and turning my hip, but rather that push off the floor into the technique, which results in my hip moving, which results in the acceleration of my arm, right? And you get the idea. So let's make 10 just straight chukuzukis from a standing high position, but I want you to feel without now having the benefit of all of this, try and make that feeling as you just do these very slight transfers of weight as your hips turn. Does that make sense? Notice if you're here, you do a slight turn. I'm in this position, there's a slight turn to my hip. Notice my weight's gone into this leg. Now I'm going to push off it and transfer it to this leg. Boom! Oh, look at that. Boom. So it's almost not noticeable. It's very small, right? But that's what you want to do. The principle, however, is the same if we make it a big movement, yes? Okay, hey, you eat. Hey, inch, knee, pump, sheep, go, look, cheech. Wait a minute, hey, so be wary that you're not push and then pulling back on the moment of impact. Oh God, Jenny, not again. Right, so if you're here, don't push, and just as you're about to make contact, pull the hip back. Make sure it goes into the target, oh, through this feeling, yeah? Don't let it go, it's got to move with the body. Now, there is a more advanced way to hit. I'm not hitting it today, but there's other ways that you can do tiki shota that go beyond the levels that I'm talking about right now. And that is where you use exactly that action. But you've got to ensure that the hip goes in. You've got to ensure that it's in, the target's in, that's hit. And it has that retractive piece. But it's a different way to hit from how I'm having you do it now, which is just this, moving hip body technique together. You can do it on the retraction as well. Slightly different. Okay, so for now, really think about that slight rotation. Not all the way to Kazami, still square, but just slightly off. I'm off by maybe, if you watch me from the side, I'm off by that much. By that much, not here, just to there. As I make that transfer, it's very subtle.
Sensei,
Because soon, we're going to be in a position where we can't move our hips that far. Okay, ready?
Sensei, just got a question on that.
Good, and relax. Okay, so the next thing I want to do this time is we're going to go back to our tiki shodan in Zenkutsudachi. At the moment now, you should have your hand positioning right. Now what I want you to think about is with each movement, because we're in Zenkutsu, we have a driving leg. We have a driving leg. As we go from there, driving, shomen, driving it all the way across, front leg pulling back, front leg pushing, back leg pushing, right? We end up with that. We've got a driving leg, an actuation of every single leg action so that it actually physically moves our hips. Does that make sense? That sounded really long-winded. So what I want you to think about in this one is I want you to concentrate this time on two things. Number one, the leg, I want you to just be aware of the leg pushing off the floor to get your hip into that position. And I also want you to be aware of the timing that it takes for that push to get your hand into that position. By the time this action is done, the hand should be in position. It should be there. It shouldn't be leg, then boom, and it shouldn't be boom, then leg. It should be together. Does that make sense? So I want you to concentrate on those two things. Be aware of the pushing leg, which one it is. And secondly, be aware that your arms are in the correct position as everything finishes together. Okay? For the way we're doing the kata today. Okay? Right, so I'm going to do it opposite, the same, so you can follow me if you're still unsure. Ready? Itch, lift, kami. So it was this back leg. Now go to shomen. It's going to be the back leg again. Push again. Knee. Now as we go down, it's going to be the front leg. The hip pops up. Push. San. Now it's going to be the front leg pushing you over to hami. Hami. Now it's going to be the back leg driving. Shomen. Now step across. It's going to be your current back leg. It's going to be your right, my right leg. I don't know whether it's your right or left, but this one back here. Sorry, wait a minute. Other way around. So you're going to step. It's going to be the kick. Now it's going to be your left leg, this front leg. Sorry. Now from here, back leg, front leg, back leg, as it goes. right? So be aware of what's actually pushing your hips into position. Now the back leg pulls up, front leg's going to push. 1, pushing it over. 2, back leg's going to come up, front leg's going to push it. Front leg's going to push the hip to pop the hip into hami. Now allow it to explode. 3, bang. Back leg's going to drive. Now reset, front leg's going to reset it. Back leg pushes, front leg pushes to hami. Back leg, which was your front leg, pushes now to the Kangeiko. Step across. Front leg is going to be the one that rotates you round. Good. So you want to turn, pull, you want to, yeah, there you go. Back leg pushes, 1. Good. From here, front leg, pump, back leg, push. Good. Back leg's going to lift, front leg's going to push. 1, feel it push the hip. 2, front leg's going to push, back leg's going to push. Good, and up. Right, so we're doing this, we're doing Tiki Shodan in this larger way to teach you, 1, where the hip position is relative to the arms, but also where the power is actually coming from within the kata. You see, when you do Tiki Shodan, even though you're restricted in Kibarachi, you still are pushing off the floor, just very subtly, just like the way that we used here to here. That still exists. It's just much smaller, right? So there's still hip and there's still leg driving. It's just greatly reduced. In the scale of like hand shodan compared to Tiki Shodan, rear leg drive changes from here in Tiki Shodan to here in Tiki Shodan, from here in hand shodan to here in Tiki Shodan in terms of emphasis of where power comes from, but it's still there and it's still coordinated within the kata. Does that make sense? Because that controls your breathing, your timing, your hip position, all of those pieces that you need. Okay? Okay, next piece. Let's do it one more time. So again, just pay attention. That's all I'm asking you to do, is develop that sort of physical awareness of which leg is pushing and when, how that pushes your hip into position, and the timing that you get there. Because you get this much time to get the position. Ready? This way. Each lift, back leg, front leg, back leg. Good. Step across. Front leg, back leg, front leg, back leg. Good. Back leg lifts, front leg's going to push. Back leg lifts, front leg's going to push. Good. Front leg. Reset. Just open the hip. Just open. Good. Back leg. Front leg. Front leg. Sorry, it gets hard. I have a small brain. Back leg. Step across. Back leg's going to kick. Front leg's going to rotate and push. Kick. Push. Back leg. Front leg. Back leg. Good. And again, even in those intermediate positions, own where they are. I'll talk about a little bit about that placement in just a sec. Back leg, front leg's going to push. Back leg, front leg's going to push. Good. Front leg, back leg. Good. Hang in. Everyone good? Is this helping? Yeah, good. So one thing that's really important here, and this is an interesting thing when I compare Okazaki Sensei, Hiroyoshi Okazaki Sensei, the chief instructor of ISKF, he's very short. Compare that to somebody like Sensei Ubel. What you'll notice in these intermediary positions, they vary in terms of where this hand goes. When I'm teaching a beginner, what I'll often do is I will tell them to expand all the way back, rotate this hand and let it go to where the shoulder stops. And Okazaki Sensei does it that way. When you look at the practicality of the movement, you're here, for him, he has very short arms, he's smaller. So for him to get inside, he needs to pull all the way back. Sensei Ubel, on the other hand, limits his to actually here, this position, in Tiki Shodan. And the reason is he wants to maintain contact and this arm's out. This allows you to be inside their technique and make the punch. When you do something, when you compare that to Tiki Sandan, for example, because the arm is here now, he actually pulls his all the way back because now he's closer to them. This is against their chest, right? So sometimes you want to be very, and I'm using this as an example for both very senior ranking instructors at how deeply they've thought about the kata based on their body, based on their physiology or their length, their anatomy. Okay, so sometimes it might be here. So never, even in these intermediary movements, don't just sort of flop around. Think about what you're doing, where they need to be to make them fit and put them into the positions you want, especially as you're going through slowly. So from here, let's do the kata now in Kibadashi. And so what I want you to do is I want you to take what you've learned. I want you to, as you go through the kata, as you lift, now I'm going to push off that leg. Now I'm going to push off this leg. So notice, as I step into Kibadashi, I have sort of the shomen, I have a hami, shomen, shomen, shomen. I have all of these degrees of movement that I can use. Notice my knees are not buckling, but I have all of these degrees of movement throughout the tension of the stance. And I'm going to use those in the same way that I was using them in the Zenkutsudachi. Does that make sense? So for example, here it's going to be hami. Shomen, you saw my hips move. Hami, hami, shomen. And see how my hips are now mirroring where my body goes, just smaller. Does that make sense? So I want you to pay special attention, not just to where your hips are moving relative to your stance and relative to make the shape, right? Because if I'm here and I don't move my hips and I make Gedan Balai, if I transform that, my Gedan Balai is way out here. I have to position my hip to make the Gedan Balai into the correct position, right? All of this is implicit within the kata. Okay, and now what I'm doing is I'm also thinking about where the power is generating from where I now drive my hips into that position. Okay, let's try. Ready? So just think about it that way. I'm going to do the kata on the regular side because you all get it. As you go through, as I count through, think about generation of power. Think about which leg is pushing the hip into that position. Make sure you're in the correct position and make sure that your timing is good. So none of this, everybody. That ain't it, right? It's got to be here. Boom, there's the push. There's the drive of my leg that makes the position that I want. You know what I mean? You get to move your hips so few times. You must make sure that your drive of your leg is coupled within that action. Okay? And not by itself. Don't break the pieces up. Make sure they're connected and together. Be part of the horse, right? When you ride, it can go all wrong. Right, if you're out of sync. You want to ride beautifully with the horse so you look cool. Karate's the same. Look cool as you go. Hey, you eat. Ready? Ich. Ni. Sam. Shi. Go. Look. Shi. Hutch. 2. 1, 2, 3. Right, that should feel so much better. Go. Lift. Push. Shich. Lift. Push. Hutch, Q. Good, reset. Humi. Shomen. Humi. Humi. Shomen. Pull across. Rotate. Humi. Right? Yes, this hip is slightly out. Right? It's mirroring Zenkutsu, where you would normally be. Shomen. Humi. Shomen. Good. Lift. Shomen. Lift. Shomen. Humi. Shomen. Good, and up. So does this help you get your hip and your body into the right position? It should feel now more connected, more strong. But that's not the end. Have I said go hard and strong fast once? No. I'm still flop sweating over here, but I'm not moving hard and fast yet. All of what we've done is about understanding where you can use gravity or muscular push. It's been about getting in the right position. Let's bring in the strength. In this drill, I'm stealing it off Matt Payne. So who's on tomorrow? Totally go to his class. It's going to be awesome. right? So as you go. So the next piece is now we have the pieces, the shapes, the timing, the drive of the lower body there, right? We've got two pieces of the pyramid. The last piece is ensuring that we're connecting and firing the right muscles. And so the drill we're going to use now is going to be about ensuring, and you have to listen to your body, ensuring that you're firing the right muscles in the right way. So Tiki Shodan, what it does is if the hands teach you this, Tiki Shodan teaches you this, that grab and that squeeze and that contraction. What we're going to do is we're going to overemphasize those corrections, those contractions. What I want you to be aware of as you do this, if you find that your shoulders are getting tired, what muscles are you probably using? Your shoulders. That's naughty, right? You want to be using your pecs, your back, your psoas, your obliques, right? All of these muscles, the rectus abdominis, boom, here, pecs, lats, squeezing back here through the rhomboids, those obliques, right? Those muscles, those should be the ones that get worked here. Biceps, triceps, not at all. You're thinking just about these core muscles from about here down. Do your shoulders aid in the movement? Obviously, right? They help. Otherwise, my arms wouldn't move, right? It doesn't quite work. I need a little bit of my frontal delt. But as I squeeze, paying attention to this and this and this and this is really important. So don't suddenly forget everything you've done. We've spent a whole lot of time to get your positioning right. Now we're going to layer in that layer of strength, that layer of musculature into the kata. Does that make sense? You're still flying spaghetti man, but now you've got a solid core. So here's what I want you to do. Is for each piece, you're going to make it isometric. So when you push up, when you start in the starting position, so just make your way, everybody. When you push up, I want you to push down with the other hand. So just make your position, push up, push down together. And what you notice is as you do that, providing you're in the right position, if you're up here, you're going to notice a whole lot of tension in your shoulders. Wrong place. Relax your shoulders, push down, and what you'll notice is immediately your pec will start to flex, your rectus abdominis will start to flex, all of this will come in. This is not how you do the kata. This is a training aid to do the kata properly, right? Really important. Okay, so push, push up, push down. Keep that tension on. You're going to make the lift and the drive, and what you're going to do is you're going to squeeze through your back, push down, open, twist here, back, right? Make sure that your hips are in the right position. Make that squeeze. Keep it on, keep it on, keep it on, keep it on. Now let it go. Boom! Now push forward and back as hard as you can. Hard, 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 hard. Let it go. Push up, push down. Hard, 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 hard. Now open it. Squeeze through the back. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Pull this back, pull this back. Rotate. Now from here, twist it down. Boom! Feel this rotation in the body, the squeeze. This rotation through the fist, the squeeze of everything twisting in. Now step across, keep it there. Let it go. Whoa, now twist the other way. Twist this out, hard, hard, hard. Now let it go. 1, 2, 3. Good, now push up, push down, hard, hard. You shouldn't be feeling this through your shoulders. You should be feeling pecs, back. Now from here, keep it where it is. Lift, rotate, keep pushing up, down, hard. Feel the muscles change. It's now in your obliques. Lift, push, up and down. It's now through the opposite side of the obliques. Cup and saucer. Push, 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 push. Now let it go. Throw. Relax. I'm in a flop sweat. Don't know about you when we're only halfway through. Let's go again. Reset. As you pull out, add the tension. Feel that opening, feel that squeeze. Now push, push forward and back. In, hard. Let it go. Up, down. Push. Rotate. Open, squeeze through the rhomboids. Squeeze it down. Let it go. Now squeeze it down. You feel it through here. Step across. Lift, rotate, other side. Good. Push, push, push. Now let it go. 1, 2, 3. Push up, push down. Hard. Let it go. 1, push. Keep that pressure on. Keep it on. Push. Up. Good. Push, up, down. Let it go. Good. And up. So what you notice, what you should feel like now is like you've done 50 crunches, like you've done 50 rows, right? This kind of feeling. For me, I go into a flop sweat. So remember, Tiki Shodan is a kata, as a shore kata, it's a heavy kata. You see so many people do the kata like this. And I'm using a high-pitched voice to be funny. Tiki Shodan! Right, you see that? Right, which I'm still going through all the waypoints, it's all good. But that's not Tiki. I'm missing the point of the kata, which is to develop this. Right? Otherwise, I'm just developing what I already did in hand shodan nidan san and yonan. So now, feel here. Feel that slight pressure. Again, I'm not going to what I just did, but I'm going to have that feeling of generating from my legs, that feel of connecting the right set of muscles. And feeling that through the actions of the kata. Does that make sense? Right. So the last piece. So what I encourage you to do is I'm giving you sort of stages to develop this. You have to go back and wherever you're at, work on that stage. Does that make sense? To develop the entire kata. Let's do it once more, heavy. That same way, push up, push down, just to make sure it's in there. And then I've got one more thing, and then we're done for today. Hey, yoi. Okay, when you're ready, push hard up and down. Each step, keep it there. Knee, one. Push, push. San, one, push. Don't let it go. Shi, up. Go. Oh. Shi, keep the pressure on. Chich, keep it on. Hutch, 1, 2, 3. Push, push, push. Go. Oh. Chich, hutch. Here. 2. Ich. Knee. Sam. She. Go. Look. Chich. Hutch. Q. 2. Ich. Knee. Yummy. And relax. It's hard work, right? But hopefully what you're noticing is that with the support of your legs and with the support of being in the correct positions, as you do it heavy like this, where you're actually really forcibly engaging the muscles in that final position, you're noticing that it fits together well, right? And the correct muscles are firing, not your shoulders, but rather your pec, your back, your rectus abdominis, your obliques, your rhomboids, right? Not your shoulders, not your neck, right? You should feel all of that start to come together, okay? Right, our last drill. Let's go back to chokuzuki. So the last thing that becomes important is the ability to let go, right? So from here, just make yoi. Hey, relax the leg. You're going to punch. And then I want you to immediately let it go into relax. So I don't want you to be like this. Right? I want you to be here. Punch, let go. Punch, let go. Punch, let go. So for that split second, you form into the perfect shape. You make the right contraction through the center, and then you let it relax. And I'll give you some ways to do that in just a second. Let's try maybe 6 punches or so to see where you are. So what I'm going to do, I'm expecting for each count, boom, relax, boom, relax, boom, relax. This feeling. Okay, and then I'll help you, depending on where everyone is, I'll help you with the relaxed part and give you a couple of ideas of what you can do. Because that ties to the last part of the kata, which is breath. Ready? Relax down on one leg. Each boom, relax. Knee. Some. She. Go. Look. Good, and relax. So when I was young, I remember asking Okazaki Sensei across the dinner table, because I had classic brown belt Shodan syndrome, right? Here we go, I'm going to do my technique. Right? And then how do you relax it? And I swear to God, straight across the table, glass of wine here, he punched it, oh, very silly little boy, basically, as he usually did. And he just went and breathed in. So he hit, connected, and as soon as he connected, he immediately through his nose, and it relaxed his body. So one way that you can do this is make that squeeze, push out, and then breathe in. This feeling, because that immediately influx of breath forces you to relax your diaphragm, right? Remember, the diaphragm is the critical part of creating intra-abdominal pressure or kime. Boom, pushes, strikes and makes that pressure. By breathing in, it immediately forces the lungs to unlock, forces the diaphragm up, and allows that to relax. That's one way you can do it. Another way you can do it is from here, and it's slightly harder to do, is make the breath out. And then from here, instead of breathing in, just keep breathing. Just stop it and continue with your breath. Like when you sneeze, choo, that feeling. So listen to my breath. I'll do both. I'll try and breathe loud to the mic. It's going to sound really stupid and kind of creepy, but it's okay. You all know me now, hopefully. So from here, listen. I'm going to do the breath in. Now I'm going to breathe out. See the difference? So this is up to you to try. And again, I'm using it full connect. If I use bomb, right? I'm here. I make that pressure in. Relaxed. Or in. It's that same feeling. So you can see me by the way Bob's reacting. That really sucked. You can see that he's getting hit. He rocks back, but you can see immediately I'm out and relaxed because that allows me then to immediately move or immediately and continue through what I want. So let's try it one more time real quick. Ready? Hey, relax down on one leg. Ich, knee, some, she, go, look, chich, hatch. So don't do this and pretend you're doing it. Connect, 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 connect. Each time. 3 more. Chich, hatch. Good. Good, and relax. Okay, so let's do Tiki Shodan one more time. What I want you to think about, all simultaneously, or depending on what you're working on at the moment. Kata is a journey. Either where your arms are placed physically on your body, where your arms are placed, comparison to your hips and the timing, how you're driving through your legs to get your body into that correct position, how you're using the strength of muscles in the torso to connect the techniques. Finally, how are you letting go between each individual movement to be able to flow from there to the next. At the point you're letting go, I can't count for you anymore because that is your breathing pattern, that is your cadence through the kata. So our last kata, which is going to be our best, don't go back to what you did before, go to what you're doing now, right? The last kata that we're going to do is Bagore, your own time. Move within the element that is helping you the most, and remember that scalability in the building that you do throughout the kata. Let's do our last kata together. Hey, Tiki Shodan, yoi, and hajime. Just come up when done. Thanks. Good. So in typical JD fashion, I went about 2 minutes over, but it's okay because I started 2 minutes late. So with that, thank you all so much. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for supporting HDKI-USA. This is our first event that we've done as a group, right, without the help of Hombi Dojo. So this is excited. Thank you so much for being part of it. And we'll see you all tomorrow for Matt Payne Sensei's class. Svidach. Bye. Thank you so much.